Greetings, beings. Reverend Jacob Martinez here, Crystal Haiku Guy from artoflove.me and your father of tribes. I'm back with your mid-monthly September readings. And happy birthday to all Virgos who are yet to have birthdays, and any Libras who are upcoming too for the second half of the month. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope your solar return is excellent. So, quick notes. This channel is M for mature audiences only, so you know what to do. I use strong language, and I don't edit the messages that are coming through from Spirit. So sometimes these videos go long. I'm your 4-video guy. I break down these readings by tribal element. So there's air, earth, water, and fire. Hop to whichever video makes sense. Check your sun, your moon, and your rising. If you don't like to watch the energetic calibrations and some of the channeled stuff that happens while I'm shuffling, because I do attempt to record and show everything, feel free to jump ahead. Just look under any of the videos in the description box. Click show more, and you will see where you can just click to your chapter. Okay, because those are actually going to be broken down by each of the distinct tribes within that element. I'm probably going to he, she, they wrong for the most of you. It's just too difficult to nail down genders or try to identify how another person might express that gender, so please use your own best judgment and, your discernment. These are general readings, so messages can't apply to everyone when I'm reading for everybody on such a broad spectrum. So again, sun, moon, rising is going to help you actually make more of a composite picture and kind of pick and choose what makes sense in your world, knowing that stories can also flip-flop depending on who you are and where you are in your cycles. So if I do start to nail on one of your stories and you want to drop me a line, feel free to let me know. I love hearing about stuff like that. And if you want to pick it up and just like drill a little bit more into that story, hit me up. Artoflove.me. I'm doing personals. It's easy to get into my schedule. All the info is there. So there's that. And prayer requests, this has been a hectic time for a lot of people. There's a lot going on in the world and in people's personal lives, and sometimes when planets are in retrograde like Mercury is right now, it can be a good time to sort of introspect. And it seems like sometimes it's like subconsciously we're just like being hammered on for things that have a way of making us want to either reconcile differences or have opportunities present themselves to do those things, and it can be confusing. So if you're someone that just wants some prayer assistance, hit me up. It's prayer@fatheroftribes.com, and we jump on those right away. So there's that. And if you're just looking for a personal though, hit me up on the website. Be happy to help you. We're gonna do these the same way we've been doing them. I break them down using 5 different decks. First, we're going to be using Carolyn Mace's archetype cards for the overall archetypal energy of the month. Looking at the physical material realm, we'll be using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. Mental sector, John Holland's Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. Personal / sometimes, not always romantic, Doreen Virtue's Romance Angels Oracle deck. And I like to seal them all up with a little practical advice and a prayer from Archangel Michael, led by me. That's what I got. I hope you like it. If you do, thumbs up, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And, yeah, I'll catch you on the inside of your reading. One shaking earth signs. Just gonna get started here on your shuffle. And we're going to go Virgo, Capricorn. We'll wrap it up with Taurus. I'm going to put the mic down unless I have something to say. Okay, 4 archetype cards just flew out. Um, they're all backs up though, so I'm just gonna kind of like mix them around, and I'll pick one, I guess. Lover. Cool. Light attributes. Great passion and devotion. Unbridled appreciation of someone or something. Shadow attributes. Obsessive passion that harms others. Self-destructive devotion. Keep shuffling. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, but if you're new to my channel and you don't know, I shuffle for all 3 of the signs on whatever element we're in, and then I deal them backs up, and then I don't read them until, I get to that sign. So sometimes this part is boring, sometimes things come up. So if you don't want to see all this, feel free to just click under the video and jump to your chapter. Okay, so I was shuffling the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck for the mental sector card, and this too, the waiting game card just flew out, and it was like straight up at me. And this is normally the Two of Wands if you're looking in like a standard kind of like Rider-Waite-Smith style deck. The waiting game, and then I just started hearing a song, and I just kept hearing, put it all on me, put it all on, put it all on. I was trying to remember what it is. There's a song that Tamar Braxton did, where she like samples Biggie and goes, I don't need no one, baby, without you I'm incomplete. My love is just like the bar, put it all on me. I don't want nobody else, baby, all I need is you. You are the one, I don't want nobody else. And I just kept hearing there's a part where it just says like, put it all on me, put it all on me, put it. Oh, that was weird. My camera went off. So yeah, I got further. Anyway, I guess y'all didn't need to hear whatever I was saying, so I'm just picking it up from where it cut off. The song I was hearing when the card came out, it's called The One, and it's Tamar Braxton. And anyway, for some reason I heard that when the Two of Wands or Two Waiting Game card flew out. Just gonna finish shuffling. Okay, well, I'm shuffling the Romance Angels for the personal / romantic sector, and that just happened, so I don't know, somehow. Whoa, there's two of them. Another one here too. Two cards were just like, okay, you can't hear me. Two cards were just sticking out of the deck reversed somehow, but they were both like sticking out. I just noticed. The one that was on top says healing family issues, your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. And the other one is playfulness, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So I was just hearing that somebody's been like coming out of some really like bad like codependent sort of stuff because of like, they're saying enmeshment, and it's like some like over participation that maybe was like cultural or something to do with the family, and somebody's just like coming out of it. And now it's just a really good time to allow yourself to step into the new you, like by your rules and what you say is appropriate for you now, because you found something that makes you happy, is what they're saying. And that, you know, you're like probably in a situation where you can afford to allow yourself to be more playful and to just sort of engage that side of you, because I'm hearing robbed childhood. And so for some of y'all, and this might not apply to everybody, and hopefully it doesn't, and if it doesn't, please be empathic and sensitive to those who might have had like some screwy bullshit to grow up through that really took their childhood away. And if that's you, God bless you. I'm praying for you, and I am just happy to hear that now's a new day, and they're saying you learned a lot, and that, you know, sometimes you can't forgive the person that hurt you because it's like still very angry, and that's okay. It's alright to be freaking pissed off. And you know what? People do a lot of damage to others and telling them that that is not appropriate and that their anger isn't good, or that things are good or bad, or making you good or bad or whatever. And it's such a mind fuck, excuse the term. If you don't like the words, you might be on the wrong channel. But and there's a but here, because to a certain point, you know, holding on to anger is, you know, it's extremely toxic because of the chemical reactions and things that happen in your body. You know, you're the one swallowing the poison. But the anger is sometimes very well deserved, and the upset. And if you can't forgive the person who did that, yet at least forgive yourself. Because you might have been in a situation where you couldn't do anything differently. Because if you could have, wouldn't you have? If you'd had the presence of mind that you have now, with the hindsight, you know, you didn't have that benefit then. So I hope you let yourself off the hook for that enough to allow that to help you move on. Because sometimes, you know, you're the only person you can forgive. You know, you always deserve some forgiveness for something that you have survived and that has helped you grow, even if it was really painful, especially if it was really painful. And if that lover card was also for you, they're saying you deserve to really be happy and shine in this right now. And you might not be used to being so playful. I know some of you all can be really practical and just like committed, and you know, you have your little rituals and things that you do that probably kept some of you alive through some really dark, trying times. God bless you for being so resilient and wonderful. Just know that if you're feeling good right now and something's starting to come back in a good way that you like, you get to say how it happens. And just because something might have been compromised before, when some other people were shitty, I'm hearing that for a lot of you, you've done so much healing. You've chosen paths that have actually led you to places where the environment is safe for you to be playful and to have that enjoyment and that like childhood naivete that you couldn't have before. So I hope you're letting your heart heal in that. And if you found a way to be safe in that expression, I hope you enjoy it. And, you know, I don't know, just saying you earned it. So go you, and God bless you. I'm going to finish shuffling. That would try to fly out. I caught it. Go forward fearlessly. You're going to know if it's for you or not, okay? But you probably had something come to your mind if this applied to a certain part of your life. And I'm just being told we're going to stop and pray on this one right now with Archangel Michael. So here we go, Earth signs. Go forward fearlessly. Thank you for walking with me every step of the way, for holding my hand, for giving me confidence and courage, and guiding my thoughts and actions in the direction of love and my true life's purpose. Amen. Yeah. They're just saying mission. I heard mission. I heard kingdom. And they're just saying you deserved it. So I know a lot of y'all just been working so hard. And that's what you earth signs do. You commit to things and you go for it and go on with your bad self. Praying for you. I keep dropping the selenite, and sometimes I'm just a klutz, so, you know, I kind of try to check in on that a little bit. But they keep showing me, like, upper chakra. Like, I'm seeing, like, crown chakra, and I'm working with an upper register energy here. For those of you that aren't familiar with, you know, crystals too much, that's a gypsum salt that I'm holding. It's called selenite, and it's an upper register sort of angelic frequency type of tool, and I like using this a lot. It's an upper register energy, and it's also grounding though, because you know it's a physical form. It's something you can hold, and I was seeing just like other upper register colors that are kind of like more like fuchsia color, kind of like the color of, you know, that deck there. And if you've been on my website, I've, you know, got those colors everywhere because of the energies that I work with. And they're just saying a lot of you are having some Kundalini energy processing appear, and some of you may have had, you know, full process Kundalini awakening already, and so, you know, and if you don't know about this, you know, if it tickles your funny bone, look it up. There's information on the web about it, and there are people like myself that actually work with these energies and assisting others in how they process through this with their actualization. And that's some of what my local work is. I work with people in a more like a hands-on sort of way. I'm just coming very alive here in a busy sort of fashion, and they're telling me that many of you are experiencing some awakening here because of the work that you're doing, especially those of you that have been avidly pursuing your inner, working on your mediumship abilities. And I'm just being told, like, you know, I kept dropping this, and I'm like, is this me being a klutz, or what is it? And they're saying, no, Jacob, this is a call to action for those who are avidly pursuing their inner and working with the upper register energies and having, you know, some sensations here in the upper register as their Kundalini is coming awake. And they're saying that salts would be really good. Make sure that you're not finding yourself electrolyte starved. You know, your electrolytes could be low sometimes if you're working with a lot of upper process energy, and it burns a lot of energy, is the thing. And so it might be time to look at revising your diet. You might look into some Ayurvedic practices, like balancing your doshas. These are all things you can Google. And they're just saying things that you can do to ground energy. You know, maybe gypsum salt, selenite might be a good tool for you to have with what you're doing, just to help you kind of bring some of that upper world energy into the earth too. And you, of all people, have a probably good sense of that if you've got, you know, strong enough earth tribe element to be watching this for yourself. You know, you might also be working with some air, though I'm picking up a lot of airy energy, and that could also just be calling in the upper registers. And if that's the case, no matter who you are, this might be a good tool for you. So you might want to look that one up. It's selenite, and I've always got a piece with me when I'm doing these readings, at least, you know, the style. So that's all I'm hearing on that. I have actually shuffled and dealt everything now, Earth signs. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do Virgo, then we're going to do Capricorn, and we're going to wrap it up on Taurus. I'm just going to light one little piece of sage here, and then we'll get rolling. What's going on, Virgo? Happy birthday to all y'all that are still celebrating your birthdays. Hope you're having just a really awesome time. This is just a freaking great year for a lot of Virgos from what I've been feeling. And I hope that's the case for you. And I know some of y'all are still kind of like mucking through like that last layer of sludge from ooh, excuse me, whatever it is you were having a hard time talking about, because you just had so much going on that, you know, you didn't have a lot of time for yourself, is what I'm hearing with some of you. So I feel like, you know, there's some just like relief energy that's coming on that feels a bit lighter. And I just hope that your solar return is awesome and that this year ahead is really good, because you've been kicking ass and just working a lot. Some of y'all have just been working a lot. So anything good you have coming your way, God bless you, you deserved it. Alright, flip these cards over. Alright, Virgo. First thing I'm being led to jump to is your mental sector card, using the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. Spirit's giving you 14 patience card. And they're just saying that a lot of things have been changing, and some of it hasn't changed fast enough for you. Which is kind of a weird thing for Virgo, I think, because sometimes you guys are like a little bit more methodical about how you want to process your change, and I'm just hearing that some of you guys are just like ready to like crawl out of your skin right now, and they're saying it's just a good time to be patient. And I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that book right now, and we're gonna start on here. John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book, and just so you know, this card is actually one of the major arcana cards from your more standard decks. 14 is your Temperance card, and usually that one's a really big angel that's like pouring things together, and sometimes a symbol of people that are like having a little bit of a challenge keeping the patience. So it can be like a temper tantrum card for me sometimes, depending on how it shows up. And since there's no reversals in this deck, it's kind of how I'm reading it for some people. And they just said that, you know, now is a really good time to exercise some self-control, especially if you're feeling bound. So, because it's not going to last much longer. This is actually like the last part of that slough coming off. So here's what the book says. This card signifies the need for patience, self-control, adjustment, moderation, and balance when dealing with others, as well as yourself. This could be in the areas of how you think and work, and how you handle school, recreation, the people in your life, or the spiritual path that's set before you. When we become disconnected from spirit, the source that once nourished us, it's often replaced with a different supply or substitute. In other words, the connection is then forged to someone, is then forged with food, alcohol, nicotine, codependency to someone, or even work. Hence the term workaholic. Many of us spend our lives trying to fill the void that was created when the link to the divine was broken. The temptation card is calling you to take a hard look at life and ask yourself, where in my life am I suffering from addictive behavior? Is there negative thinking or behavior that's causing the life force to seep out of my soul? Are the people and relationships in my life giving me energy, or are they draining it? Learn to embrace your fears and all of your doubts so that every situation in your life becomes a learning experience. Gaining the knowledge that the physical world teaches will help you transcend to a higher spiritual awareness. And that's like what they're showing in this picture here, Virgo. Like this person is literally watching a seed grow from the fertile place of their hand. Just like not where you normally would see a seed grow, right, in real life. And, you know, have you ever just like tried to watch a plant grow? It can be a really sort of slow process, and they require light and nurturance and basically TLC, and they're saying that like you have really tended to this, and you know that this thing that you've been like working on is just like coming alive somewhere, and it's like you know it in your mind, but it might not be showing it yet, or maybe you don't really see how it's still going to come together, because they're saying some of y'all just are feeling disconnected. And I just got to bring it up because that was one of the words that was in the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book on that mental sector card, which is a major arcana. You know, it's like a major influencer. These are the kind of things that just, you know, they sort of change how we do things. They're the reasons why stuff happens, and less of like secondary conditions. It's more like primary stuff. And so they're just saying at the root of it all, it's like a change that's deep, it's profound, and it's something that you have worked for, and you're just some of you feeling kind of disconnected from like whatever outcome it is that you've really just got your heart just hanging on, right? Is how they're saying it. Your heart's hanging on it. And in your personal / sometimes romantic sector card, separation card came up, and obviously for some of y'all this might literally indicate a separation of some sort. You know, it could be in a work or personal kind of relationship, but I'm also just hearing too that for some of you this has more to do with just like an impatience with seeing the manifestation of the fruit of your labor. And so it says time apart from your partners on the horizon may or may not be about, you know, a partner that you're not with, but I'm also hearing for some of y'all it's just because it's like you're waiting for two worlds to come together, and like the situation hadn't really presented the proper conditions yet, and it was making you feel really bound. So, overall archetypal energy for the month, now flashing back to the beginning here, using Carolyn Mace's archetype cards. Spirit's shown us the slave card for you, Virgo. Light attribute state, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Shadow attribute state, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. And I'm just hearing for some of y'all, you just got to keep trusting that what you've been working on, especially if there's some sort of like a spiritual process attached to this, that it's worth the wait. And, you know, for some of you, it's just like about having the patience to keep enduring that. And for others, it's the complete opposite right now. It's really just realizing where you have surrendered your own essence and the light of your soul and the things that make you happy and the place that they serve in your life for others. And so it's kind of like coming to a point of really wanting to break away from that. And I think that's why Archangel Michael is giving us the Explore Your Options card as your advice and tip. And so we're actually going to wrap it up on that prayer a little bit later, but they're just saying some of y'all are just like ready to just like take off on that horse. And I heard double down. They said double down. So okay, so, you know, this person, he, she, they, whomever that person is, the angel and the horse, they're ready to get together and go. Like, I mean, that horse is, like, taking off, and it looks like it's gonna fly, but it's almost like the angel is, like, gonna make it happen. Like, I mean, you've got, like, your own big wings, and so they just said you're gonna get there. Like, wherever it is, you're gonna get there. And so, like, the separation I'm hearing for a lot of you guys is just, like, you know, it's temporary, it's a condition. And you know you gotta keep being patient right now. And I'm hearing it's worth the effort for some of y'all. And, in your physical material realm, using the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, 3 of Cups in reverse. That's what it looks like overall. Looks like a pretty good time, right? I'm just hearing that that's what's on somebody's mind. It's like, they're like, where's my good time, you know? I've, like, worked so hard, and I just, like, I'm hearing for some of y'all it's a travel bug, and it's just like, I have been really just kind of overcommitted, and it's like I got this new thing going on, and I'm just ready to, like, cut away, and, like, you know, go do that. The ones that put you in that state. And that for some people that's why they were feeling like they just had like their heart hung up on this process, whatever this is, that they've been putting their self into, and it just isn't happening fast enough. And I know that's a lot to say, especially for a Virgo. I know you guys can get frustrated like anyone else, but you know, sometimes to get you to that point where you are so revved that you're just like, can we move it along? That's a lot, you know, to get Virgo there, really. Because you tend to sort of, like, hold it together. Even if you have that internal anxiety a lot of times, it's like, you know, you just, nobody else knows it. You know, they don't know it. Because you can come off so patient. And I'm hearing some of y'all are, like, ready to just, like, give up and just, like, tear away from something. And you know, in some cases, the archangels are saying it's a really good idea. Just make sure, and let me be the one to just remind you, okay, that some of the stuff, and maybe while you're feeling so, like, coming unglued a little bit, some of y'all, because that's not, like, always normal for you, you know? You have your anxieties and stuff, but a lot of times you just kind of hold it together. Yes, you've worked really hard for something, and, you know, it's, like, time for them to, like, I don't know, just, I'm hearing, let you enjoy it. But the other thing is just that, you know, Mercury's in retrograde right now. Y'all are really Mercury prone. And I don't know what you're going through. I didn't realize how Mercury prone I was, but this one, like, 2 weeks before Mercury even went into retrograde, I was, like, having all kinds of stuff happening in my world. So, I just know that sometimes things can be exacerbated because, you know, it's just challenged communication, and sometimes things don't feel like they're moving fast enough. And just remember, if you're, like, trying to cut away and everything like that, if it's, like, a vacation or something you can take take your precautions with all of your travel. Make sure you've gotten your shots. I'm saying, you know, hearing get your immunizations, get your bug shots, everything you need to do. Double check what you're packing, you know, make your lists, you know, make sure you've explored everything that you need to explore before you set off and do that journey. But I'm hearing that, like, time away might be really good for some of y'all. Because, you know, if you've been feeling like what that word says there, you know, maybe that's why things haven't been feeling like such a good time. You've just been, like, overworked, you know? And so, you know, maybe you just need to, like, take a chill, right? But for other people too, it's just like, this could be such a frustrating energy sometimes that you might just not be feeling like yourself, and it might be really easy to act out of your comfort zones, which in some cases is good. In other cases, it might just be like, you know, a little reckless. And so just make sure you're tempering those emotions with the awareness of yourself and the awareness of the fact that all of this is probably going to feel less intense after the 22nd of the month, you know, or, you know, shadow period, however long that goes for you. It could be a week or two, but, you know, just know that if you're waiting, because I know some of y'all are also just like doing a lot of spiritual work, and you know, are like metaphysical kind of interested people that might pay attention to stuff like Mercury retrograde, and you know, maybe you're just like feeling like there's certain things that you're just like distanced from because you're like kind of like, I'm hearing spooked to do anything, you know. They're just saying it's okay to explore your options, and you don't have to jump to any conclusions either, Virgo. So, you know, if there's stuff that you want to do, you know, don't feel like you're like just cut off if that's how you're feeling. You know, they're saying now's a good time to just really work it out too. So if you've got a lot on your mind that you're trying to work through, be patient with yourself, okay? Exercise that patience for yourself. Be your own angel here, and let yourself explore the options. And you don't have to like jump to conclusions or do anything, but you know, don't let yourself be blocking your own good time just because maybe you're like afraid, or because like you were overcommitted before, and you know, it's like you're just like afraid to, you know, give something new a shot. You know, don't let it be for that reason, because sometimes that could be the case. It's also possible too, I mean, because this could just be, sometimes these are people we're dealing with, since this is a physical card showing up here. Cups energy is a lot of times going to be somebody that's got a strong influence of water tribe element in their constitution, and that might be somebody that's got a sun, moon, rising, or kind of acts like, you know, a cups person. So Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, if it's not you. And upright, you know, this is a good time. Upside down, maybe not. Sometimes I see that as like a cautionary note about, you know, substances. Like it could be like too much party, you know, a little too many of those. And so, you know, I'm hearing for some of y'all, this has been just like being in a relationship too, that you're kind of figuring out how to distance yourself from, where the person might have been abusing substances and not really knowing how to exit it, because sometimes there can be a fine line between feeling like you're abandoning somebody and a time of need, and also just feeling like also a slave to a really freaking shitty situation that might be not good for you, that you should actually get away from and explore some options, you know. So one way or the other, be patient with yourself, use your high mind in this. And I'm being told that a lot of you, that upper chakra stuff that I was getting in the shuffle before I started was for you. If you didn't see that, feel free to flip forward and catch the messages. But you know, they were saying crystals might be helpful for some of y'all. I'm going to go ahead and see what the book says on the archetype of slave for you here, Virgo. Again, this is Carolyn Mace's archetype deck. And here's what the book says for you. Slave, puppet. 2 bullet points and a tip. First bullet point says, surrenders to the divine, a higher power, or a trusted spiritual master to become truly free. And the second bullet point says, shadow slave lacks the power of choice and self-authority and follows orders that violate one's integrity. And then the tip says, do you have a history of becoming slave to the system, or is slavery part of your genetic history? And they're saying that's, really what it is for a lot of you all. It's making a very difficult decision to cut away from a tradition that I'm being told is just deeply enmeshed into how you've been living your life up to this point, and that it's like a major change that you've been evolving through. And a lot of you, it's just like this energy coming from your birthday has been like just exposing a lot of this deep desire to see that change affected. And so now is definitely a time to have patience with yourself, especially if you're feeling like this is you and you might be not enjoying some of what it is that you really want, and haven't noticed some of the good things that you have right now that have already started to get you there, because it's not quite where you want to be yet, and it was like a major thing that you're overturning. And so be patient with yourself there, Virgo. And if it's somebody that you need to get away from for a good reason, and if it's a good reason, because if it's affecting you, and that the Explore Your Options card was talking to like you need to look for help, please get help for yourself, and please be patient with yourself and needing that help, and being willing to accept it, and not feeling like you're stuck in a bad situation, and realize that just because you might feel like you're, like, I'm hearing codependent, stuck. Some of y'all in some situations don't feel like getting help in a positive light from situations that can give authentically, when you might need some assistance. Don't feel that that's like, just, putting yourself in another form of slavery. Because I'm hearing that for some of you that's like where you're getting stuck in your mind. It's like, wait a second, if I leave this one situation and then I take help over there, it's just like, I'm just recreating the situation. And in some cases, you're going to know if that's valid for you or not. But in other cases, I'm being told that some of y'all, it's a totally different situation, because you've groomed your life in a different direction, and that the way that life is actually presenting itself to you with options and resources and abundances is a good thing, and that it's there for you to grab and reach out for, and that it's time to explore those options as you separate from the thing that's no longer good, and that you have the high mind and the knowledge, and that now it's really just a matter of making sure that you don't process so much of this in a way that makes it where you can't be patient for yourself. Okay, and so do what you need to do to nurture yourself right now, if that's the case. And if it's not the case, and you're just one of those people that's just, you've got like a Midas touch, and that you have alchemized a situation in such a powerful way that you've literally brought these opposing worlds together in a way that now is like bearing fruit, or signs of it, where you can just sort of experience it in the ether around you, even if it hasn't really like come into your hand yet. They're saying act as if, Virgo. keep going, because those are your cups. You got some reason to celebrate. I'm hearing a lot of y'all got some real reason to celebrate, and that separation was like a good thing. It was a good thing. So let's see what the Dream Virtues Romance Angels Oracle book says about that separation card. Here's what the picture shows. It says, time apart from your partner is on the horizon. It might be true. It might be true. It doesn't necessarily have to mean you're, like, breaking up with somebody, though. I'm hearing some of you all have found, like, a spiritual partner that's, like, blowing your freaking mind. And it's, like, taking your spiritual practice next level, where you've, like, completely surrendered certain parts of your ego and things that you didn't realize you would ever want to say no to because you found something so much better. And that it's like, that's what the slave thing is. It's like slave to the divine, so it's like this really awesome thing. And that, like, the patience card and that turned over, like, 3 of Cups is just like, you really want to be together and you're on other sides of the world. So they're saying you just, you know, gotta stick it out a little bit. Here's what the book says. Separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. The romance angels are helping you during this period of separation from your partner. This card comes to you as an indication of angelic support as you spend time away from each other. While you're apart, the angels can help you fill your hours with healthy activities which will help you present or future relationships. This card may indicate a temporary period of aloneness, such as while your partner is traveling for business, or a time in your life when you're single and preparing for your next relationship. It can also mean a marital separation or divorce. Call upon the angels for support and guidance during these transitions. They can help you discover the deep healing to be mined as you spend time alone, which prepares you for the next part of your relationship journey. Yeah, so they said that's like, for some of y'all, it's like the only reason why your cups are upside down. It's like, you know, you just want to, like, go, like, party your face off with the one you love, and you're far. And so they're saying, for some of you guys, it's just like booking travel. And, you know, they're saying explore your options. You might actually find a really good rate, too. I heard some of you. I heard Truvia. Is that like a Orbits or something? Somebody said Truvia. Explore your options. So, okay. Yeah, and I'm just hearing, too, again, and I think I got it last month. Or no, maybe it might have just been for the beginning of the month. It was a couple weeks ago. I don't remember which signs it was for right now, but I was hearing something about just, like, planning really well, making sure you, like, look into whatever immunizations you're going to get. And they were showing me somebody losing something, and I'm hearing it might have been somebody's passport. And they were just saying that you probably put it somewhere that was, like, really obvious. And I had lost something that I actually found last time. It was my healing incense, and it was actually in a box that I never stick it in because I put my things in a certain place. And I guess I had, like, tried to make it convenient for myself because I was working with certain tools, and I stuck it in the box where I keep some index cards that I refer to when I do some of my channelings. And it turned out it was, like, in the box, like, right next to me, and I was, like, up walking around looking everywhere for it, and then it was like my guides were like, no, look in the box, you stuck it in the box, and I'd totally forgotten that I'd stuck it there. And hearing for somebody, that's where your passport is. It's, like, someplace really silly that is not really silly, but it's, like, kind of silly to you because you never would have put it there before, but then you, like, totally relocated it some time ago because you thought it was going to be more accessible there, and it's waiting for you. And explore options. So I'm just gonna wrap this up on the prayer here for you, Virgo, and I hope you have a happy birthday if it's your birthday now, and enjoy your year. Dear God, thank you for your wisdom and love, helping me see, understand, and assess all of my alternative options. Please guide me in the best direction for my health, happiness, and life's purpose. Amen. Alright, Virgo, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. Hope it made sense. If I can pray for you, hit me up. prayer@fatheroftribes.com if you'd like a personal reading, or for me to jump off at any one of these stories that might have applied to you, hit me up on the website for a personal. We'll talk to you again soon when I'm back for your monthly readings. I'm just going to pause real quick, and I feel like I need to move around for a minute, and then we'll pick up at Capricorn and then wrap it up with Taurus. Alright. Wasn't starting when I tried to start it again, so looks like we're rolling. I'm going to clear off Virgo's cards, light a little piece of sage for Capricorn, and then we're going to get started there. What's going on, Capricorn? How you doing? Happy mid-month of September. I'm gonna flip your cards. Well, it's always interesting when a card that flies out when I'm shuffling for everybody shows up again, because that actually just happened for you folks, Capricorn. If you missed the beginning, you might want to scroll back and just see. But that actually flew right out of the deck when I was shuffling for all of the Earth tribes. So that's Carolyn Mace's archetype card, using her archetype deck, and it says Lover. Light attributes: great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. Shadow attributes: obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. So, yeah, that card actually flew out when I was just shuffling for all the Earth tribes. So, pretty strong energy there, Capricorn. And I know some of y'all have been dealing with some soulmate stuff recently. I mean, that's been like a really big theme over the recent months with y'all. And I'll just say, sometimes lover, this might be like romantic soulmate. Other times this could be like friends, family members, co-workers. And sometimes it's, stressful stuff. So, I'm being pointed to obsessive passion that harms others. And for others, this is just a really beautiful, loving kind of thing. And, they're just saying it's time to engage your playful nature, because that's actually coming up in your romantic / personal sector, playfulness. And actually, Capricorn, this card, yeah, this came up too. When I was shuffling the Romance Angels Oracle deck, there were two cards that flipped themselves around and kind of like stuck out of the deck. You might just want to watch the beginning. It was kind of weird how it happened. I was surprised, but that was one of them. The other one was Healing Family Issues, I believe. And so this one says, to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. And I'm hearing for some of y'all that this is actually really like you're dealing with something that's been really negative, and I'm hearing for some of y'all, you put those swords on somebody, and for others, that's what's happened to you. And that, there was something that was not good, and, that just flew out of my hand here. Harms others is what they just said. This, like, flew out of my hand almost, and I heard harms others. And so you're going to know if that was done to you, or if you have been doing that to someone else and that's been like coming to your awareness. I'm hearing for some of y'all, it's been like, real sitch. Because 8, trapped in fear, another mental sector kind of style energy is what's actually showing up in the physical realm, though, because those are both swords. Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, which I use for the physical material realm, could be a swords person. You know, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, if you don't have swords in your own chart. But you've also got more swords showing up in your mental sector. Trapped in fear. This is the Eight of Swords card. And I'm hearing from some of y'all, this is like, wow, somebody just got released from prison. And it's just like trying to have a good attitude about it is what I'm hearing, because it's been like a long time coming out, and they're saying that it's like just it's a different time, and that the worst thing to do would be self-destructive right now, and just like have a sense of humor, okay, about what you've survived, because I heard for somebody it's wrongful imprisonment. And there's like nothing you can do to get the time back but try to make up for as many good times as you can have right now. So I don't know if that's you. Maybe that's somebody else that you know. But they're saying they might be having some anxiety about coming out into the world and like not really knowing how to socialize because of how they've been like anguished and like mentally entrapped, and just like I'm hearing treating themselves like shit and just like being really negative with others. And then it's like, you know, learning how to be jovial is actually just going to be a really good thing. And so it's like really great that that's like the kind of energy that they're around right now, if this is not you, because that's what lover energy can be too. So they're just saying be careful if that person has like codependent tendencies, because, you know, sometimes it's just really easy to keep just being obsessive in different ways. So I'm going to read to you what the book says, because that might actually be very specific for like, you know, really small segment of people. For others, they're just saying that, you know, there's like an end to something that's been a dark period right now, and that now is a very good energy to embrace the lighter aspects of what loving and healing actually are. Alright, Capricorn, lover. Alright, we've got 3 bullet points in the tip. First bullet point: may manifest in anyone who exhibits great passion and devotion to another, but also to art, music, gardening, nature, or needlepoint. The second one says, includes unbridled affection for or appreciation of someone or something that influences the organization of your life and environment. And the shadow lover manifests as an exaggerated or obsessive passion that has a destructive effect on your physical or mental health and self-esteem. And then the tip is to ask if passionate enthusiasm and or romantic love plays a dominant role in the overall design of your life and self-worth. And they're saying if it doesn't, and it hasn't, that it's like some of y'all are just like ready for it to have a place, because you haven't been in your highest truth and allowing the place for that need. And so that's why for some of y'all it's felt like enslavement, you know. And I'm hearing for some of y'all it's like body image stuff, and it's just like somebody said something really shitty for some of you, and I'm hearing that it was like intended, or they said it was intended in like humor and playfulness and jest, but it just really felt like that, and you've been carrying it for a really long time, and it's kept you here, and now is the time to kind of let yourself like try to really experience something new, especially if you have like a good loving energy around you and something that you kind of want to coddle and love and hug. But they're saying don't squeeze it too tight. And for some of y'all, it's really just like, I mean, there's been a bad situation where somebody is owed a freaking apology. And I'm hearing that the stabs have just come and come and come, and that that person was already like almost dead, and like just like had already taken so many hits that it was like unfair for it to keep going, and it kept going. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, you know, if this isn't you, that somebody's feeling really shitty about how they participated in that. And that they realized that it was reckless, it was obsessive, it was self-destructive, it was self-devoted, it was unrelenting, and that they kind of got off on it and never apologized. If that was you, I'm really sorry that that happened to you. And you're going to know if you did that to somebody else. And if they've come to you many times and maybe became so afraid because of the mental and emotional abuse that was being exacted on them repeatedly. Now, I'm hearing for some people it was their whole life. Constant attack. And like done in a really jestful way that was excused. Left him feeling like this. He, she, they, whoever that is. That's pretty big. And so, you know, if that's you, if that's something that happened to you, you know, they're just saying it's a really good time to do whatever you can do to show yourself the appreciation that you need and that you deserve in your life. Because lover, you know, if this isn't something that, you know, if somebody's not treating you that way, you know, that's really something you can also give to yourself. And true deep love really starts within. So Capricorn, you know, especially if you're leaving a dark time, or, you know, maybe just getting in touch with something that's finally letting you have your playfulness and jovialness and inner light, you know, give the love to yourself. Give the appreciation to yourself, especially if you're realizing that, you know, people were taking freaking shots at you. See, that's mental energy. This is showing up in the physical material realm, so maybe somebody left you feeling like this. You know, I'm hearing left for dead. Maybe. That just came out of my hand again. Maybe you left somebody like that. Maybe you had to, you know, maybe it was a bad situation, and maybe it's not as violent as it looks, but it's like you were at your end, and it's like ready for it to be over. Because somebody didn't want to feel like that anymore. This trapped in fear card, mental realm, that is your Eight of Swords if you were in this deck. And this here is usually a person that's just kind of like, the prison they're in is usually just like the hell of their mind, and like just being wound up in that, and sometimes it's like what they don't want to see. Like this kind of doesn't even look like a real prison around this person. That looks like it might be a window, but it kind of looks like a prison, but it's kind of like collapsed, and it's like coming at a weird angle, and to me it looks like a mental imagination, sort of mental grid construct, and there's like a lot of light up there, and this person's just not even looking. They're just like holding their head and like refusing to get up. I think that's the same light that's showing up over here. But here, this person doesn't have all the swords in their back, you know, so kind of feeling like, you know, this might just be saying that whatever that was is like over, you know, and it's like that point now where it's like you're getting up and you're like, holy shit. Clarity coming in. Is that light around me? Maybe I'm going to look at that and see what's happening, and maybe the next thing is just wanting to grab at it, you know, grabbing at that light. Lover, you know, going after it. And they're just saying that, you know, whatever it is, Capricorn, you know, I don't want to underemphasize the severity of it if it's like, you know, really serious. It doesn't always have to be that serious, though. Sometimes they're saying, you know, might just mostly be in your mind sometimes, too, and Mercury retrograde can be one hell of a, you know, mind game time for people, because it's like communications aren't really great, and sometimes people come at you like they're all lead poisoned and stuff, and so sometimes, you know, they're just saying, you know, it's just like petty and people are being silly, or sometimes it's just in your mind, and, you know, try to put a good spin on it for yourself. Now's a really good time to, you know, try to just, like, take some of the intensity off of your own tendency to make it more oppressive in some situations than it might actually be for yourself. And, you know, that might just be like not treating yourself right and staying up all night and like just like overthinking. And so it doesn't have to be all this kind of crazy. And I'm hearing some of you guys, it's just like you might have found somebody that you really like a lot, and you're just like talking all the freaking time. And I'm hearing some of y'all, this isn't really trapped in fear. This is, you know, it's an Eight of Swords card. It's like up all night talking to somebody like till the dark hours, and just like talking with them all the time because you've found something that you've connected to after a dark period of time, and you're just like making jokes and having a good time and stuff. And they're saying you need to get some sleep, so make sure you're getting some sleep or you're gonna feel like the Walking Dead. Okay, so, you know, if that's you. But, you know, there's also a really good chance that, and, you know, I'm just gonna go back on like this theme of soulmate that you have had going on for a while. You know, soulmate can be something that really forces you to grow up in some kind of way in your life that maybe sucks. Sometimes that's what it looks like, right? And it doesn't have to be a great time. You know, sometimes it really, really is awful. So I'm not going to try to minimize what that might have been like in its expression in your world, but they're just saying it might have something to do with an air sign person. So I haven't done the air signs yet, but if you're dealing with an air sign person, you might want to check out the air tribes video that I'm going to be doing. Probably it'll be either later today or tomorrow. So, and today's the 6th when I'm recording these. So that's going to be your Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So if you're dealing with an air tribe person, or if you have a lot of air in your chart, you might be just having a situation going with them that's very prevalent for the second half of the month here. And if that's the case, they're saying, you know, really tap into the lighter side. That's going to be very, very helpful, and that you want to be loving, and just make sure that, because like that 10 can be very obsessive, that 10 of Swords, you know, that you aren't borderlining on anything that's obsessive, and you're going to know if that's being directed at you or if you're kind of like directing that at somebody else. And that's going to be very, very key, Capricorn. I'm going to go ahead and jump into your mental sector card, which was that Trapped in Fear card, using the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book, aka Eight of Swords. Alright, Capricorn, here's what we got. 8, Trapped in Fear. This card reveals that it's actually your own fear that is immobilized and trapped, preventing you, that has you immobilized and trapped, preventing you from making decisions or choices. You are the one who's holding yourself prisoner or hostage, and in order to continue your journey, you must first face your fears so that new people and conditions can manifest. Many individuals choose to stay in this place because they can't see the road ahead. They feel a misguided sense of safety there, or they're afraid of starting something new. But staying will only add to your levels of stress and anxiety and create adverse effects in your physical body. Seek out wise control for assistance. You don't have to do this alone, but know that you possess all of the tools that you need to free yourself. You're forgetting how strong you really are. This period will end when you use your mind to cut through the limitations caused by your emotions. And so that's a good thing to keep in mind. It's Mercury retrograde. Communications can be off. You know, they're just saying try to keep on the light side there. You know, it is a good time to think and get things processed, but don't be overthinking and putting yourself in a bad situation. because obsessive passions are certainly things that can happen too easily right now when that's the way the energy's teeter-tottering around you and possibly within you, Capricorn. So just keep it in mind, okay? All those swords, you know, that's all mental stuff. Focus on the light side if you can. And the Doreen Virtues Romance Angels Oracle card says to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. They're saying some of you guys are actually doing that, though. I was hearing that some of you girls, guys, and others are just, like, really connecting with somebody. And it's like you're hurrah in the middle of, like, whatever might have felt like a shitstorm, or might even be a shitstorm. You might be dealing with a shitstorm. Shitstorms erupt during Mercury retrogrades a lot of times, and sometimes it's just like, oh my god, what's going on? And you might have, like, one really cool thing going on, though, with, like, a person in your life. It might be somebody that, you know, is just bringing the joy into your world. And if not, they're just saying you have a really good energy to do that, and that's going to kind of be your peaceful antidote while things are maybe a little cray-cray. So here's what the card says in the book. The romance angels are cherubs who embody all things romantic and who have a happy, youthful sense of playfulness. They delight in the wonders of love and ask you to do the same. The angels want to help you fall back in love with life again by guiding you to enjoy yourself. This comes from a spirit of joy and adventure. The angels ask you, when was the last time you had fun? If you don't remember, then it's long overdue for you to add some playtime into your schedule. The angels say that fun is a necessity, not a luxury. The activity can be free of charge, such as exploring nature, auditioning for a local theatrical production, joining a community sports team, or trying something new. Playfulness is a good investment of your time, as it will renew your energy levels and elevate your mood. Playtime is essential in relationships, too, to keep the free-spirited component of dating alive. Plan regular date nights with your partner. Take turns creatively planning fun activities such as miniature golf, karaoke, walking together through a flower garden, or flying kites together. Yeah, they're just saying y'all need to laugh. Especially if you've been going through a really cutting time. Like, if this is about a relationship, and now it's just really a time to connect with your loved one. And they're just saying that, you know, you have maybe had, like, a really rough 8 to 10 months. It's been, like, I'm hearing for some of y'all hell. And they're just showing me something that I didn't like. And it was just being cut out. Like, I'm hearing something about a miscarriage. Not predicting, but more like something that happened. I was just seeing the cutting time. They were showing me cutting time, and then I saw, like, you know, I guess it was a stillborn, maybe, a stillborn birth. And I was seeing them just, like, cutting the umbilical cord and somebody carrying the baby off. And I'm really sorry if that's you. I'm praying for you. And they were just saying that if you're trying to conceive right now, you know, it's nobody's place to tell you that fears that you might have about potentialities are unfounded. I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that you don't have a good reason to feel ungrounded about it. But what I am saying is that the angels are just showing up here saying that it doesn't have to be the same. And that a lot of this has to do with your self-esteem right now and how able you are to allow your healthy glow to shine. They keep showing me a lot of yellow. And they're just saying, you know, now's the time to really kind of feed that light in a playful way as much as you can. That's actually going to, like, nurture that area. And it's just really good, loving energy all around you to do that. And so, you know, even if things sometimes feel bleak in your mind, just remember there is some yellow. The sun does come out. You know, and sometimes it's just like what a difference a day can make. You know, you can have a real shit day. And if you can just like find someone to take your emphasis off of that day, enough to just sleep and see the light of day, a new day come up, you know, sometimes that will pull you out of, you know, that fear place. You know, remember the sun comes up again, and try to keep your sense of humor around you if you are dealing with that. And also just know, you know, if you're dealing with any like depression or anything like that, there's just a lot of help out there, Capricorn. And so, you know, you don't have to be stuck in that alone. There are people that do care and love you, and that if you don't have them in your life, maybe it's just time to take a look around and see what other options there might be, because you might have been in some patterns that now are not necessarily as present as they were before. And so, you know, there are other things that are available to you if you allow yourself to look and explore. And so I hope that you will do that. And if you need to find ways to offset your tensions, they're just saying loving yourself is going to be great, and having a sense of humor as much as you can in that situation. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap it up on that prayer for you, Capricorn. And we are going to seal it up with a prayer with Archangel Michael. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for helping me see the humor in this situation so I can lovingly laugh at human nature. I'm willing to view my experience in a new light in order to attract love and healing energy. Amen. Alright, Capricorn, that's what I got for you. Hope it made sense. Hope you liked it. If you did, thumbs up, share, subscribe, tell a friend. If you want a prayer, hit me up at prayer@fatheroftribes.com, and I'd be very happy to do that for you. And if you want a personal private reading, www.artoflove.me. Alright, just going to finish clearing off here. Going to light one more piece of sage, and we're going to wrap it all up with Taurus. What's going on, Taurus? How you doing? It's the second half of September already. I'm going to flip your cards. Okay, so I just flipped your cards and I heard the word abandoned. Triggered and abandoned. I'm sorry. I don't like starting readings like that. Just for anybody that's new to my channel, I don't do it that way on purpose. I just, I channel and I hear what Spirit says to me, and I'm just willing to say it, so I hope you don't dislike me because of that. And if it's not your message, feel free to ignore it. File it into your mind, see what plays out the next couple weeks or whatever. And if it just doesn't show up for you, maybe just feel a little sympathy for whoever might be feeling like that right now. Whatever it is, though, you know, if you were left, abandoned, feeling discarded, I'm just being told right now, Taurus, to jump here and remind you that you are in fact guarded and protected. I heard guided too. I said guided. The card says guarded and protected, and they said that you might be having somebody that's ready to go to bat for you and help shield your heart. So I'm just gonna do this prayer right now because I think some of y'all need to know that somebody did show up and is going to go to bat for you, Taurus. So you are guarded and protected, my friends. God bless you. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for protecting my loved ones and me, ensuring that we're safe and that all of our needs are met. I now accept your help gratefully and gracefully, knowing that it is right for me and all others to accept heavenly assistance. Amen. I don't always do that, but sometimes they tell me to start other places. So we're going to start there, because you are guarded and protected. Overall archetypal energy for the month, Taurus, using Carolyn Mason's archetype cards. Spirit has given us the Child Orphan card. Light attribute state. Independence based on learning to go it alone. Conquering fear of surviving. Shadow attribute state. Feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation. Seeking inappropriate surrogate families. And I'm just going to jump to your personal / sometimes romantic card. Using Enduring Virtues, Romance Angels Oracle deck. Forgiving and Learning. This card says, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And I'm just hearing some of you guys had to, have a freaking come to Jesus, or talk to Buddha, or, sit down with mom and dad, or talking to whatever holy avatar you do, because the Truth card showed up, 20, and so did the Page of Cups reversed. So I might just jump to all your cards kind of fast here. I'm going to break them down a little bit. We'll spend time with each card. But I'm hearing for some of y'all, this has been there was a truth serum moment that had been needing to happen about something pretty emotionally pulling. And it's been on the mind a while, and it's been a big deal, and that it's left some people feeling abandoned over the truth, or with a fear that they're going to lose whatever protections they had in their life, and that this is sort of a big theme here the second half of the month. And for some of y'all, I was hearing it might have been a divorce, and just trying to figure out what to do with the kids, and just not really knowing and waiting on a legal decision. But that the big thing right now is to kind of try to let yourself off the hook for things that are out of your control, knowing that you're doing the best you can, and that it seems like there are people that really are trying to help offer guardianship, even if it feels like you might be going it alone right now. And I don't know, look at that picture there, Taurus. I'm being told that's someone's inner child, and they had some really big dreams that in some cases maybe they just feel like they abandoned. And so this might not be about being neglected by a loved one or anything, but more just kind of revisiting what it is that we feel we may have orphaned in ourselves in the past. And that sometimes Mercury retrograde just brings it up. It's the time where I'll just say it's a good time for me personally to just focus on some of that stuff that comes up, and trying to detail it back and see it from the perspective of the person who grew up through it, to be, let's say, maybe the better equipped stand-in guardian or parent. And if that didn't make sense, I'll just break it down for how I do it for myself. I felt like this before. I don't have any strong Taurus in my chart personally. I love Taurian people. Some of my favorite people have really strong Taurian placement. And I know what this feels like. But when I've been feeling like that, and that happens during Mercury retrogrades a lot of times, will come back in contact with that thing that I feel maybe far away from, that maybe I wanted to do, or something that was unreconciled. And these are just really good times to contemplate that. And for me, if it's something that's like bad emotion, bringing up, like it drudges up like bad emotion, or if it like is something where I felt like, you know, maybe somebody cut out on me and left me feeling like an orphaned child, whether it was me or someone else, sometimes I like to go back and look at it as if I were my own parent. So I go back as the man that I needed in my life when somebody or something left me feeling like I didn't have an advocate, and like maybe like I wasn't guarded and protected. And so sometimes, you know, Mercury retrograde can play some tricks on people, give them opportunities to revisit this stuff in different ways, whether it's in our own minds or really putting us in contact with the people that maybe left us feeling like jilted, I'm hearing. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. That has a lot to do with you, you know? Even if that's not like you forgiving another person. It could be like you just like listening to your own guides telling you, Taurus, you know, it's time to let yourself off the hook. You know, maybe you made some decisions to do things to support yourself when nobody else was there. And it might have cost you some dreams at different points in your life. And maybe sometimes, you know, that makes you sad. Sometimes people feel sad about that. It can be a lot to face your truth, right? So that might not be the case for you too. So it just depends on which Taurus you are. So do check your sun, your moon, and your rising, because these might give you greater context in the situation. But we're going to go ahead and jump into Carolyn Mace's archetype deck book and see what it says on the child orphan. Oh, and just so you know too, there are some archetypes that we all have. And one of those archetypes is these children archetypes. And there's like 4 or 5 in here. And we each have one. So yours that's showing up is the orphan. Here's just what it says on child in general. Variations include divine, eternal boy, girl, magical, innocent, nature, abandoned, orphan, and wounded, many of which are present to some degree in every psyche. One aspect is usually dominant. Choose carefully because you can have only one child archetype in your support team. So, let's see what it says about orphan. Child orphan. The keyword they gave us is abandoned. That's actually what I'd heard too, I think, when I dealt the cards. When I flipped them. I thought I heard abandoned. We've got 4 bullet points and a tip. First one says, best known pattern in many fairy tales. The second one says, reflects feeling that you aren't a part of your family or tribal spirit. The third one says, helps develop psychic independence based on personal judgment and experience early in life. And the last one says, shadow orphan manifests as failure to mature, an obsessive search for surrogate family structures to experience tribal union rather than moving on. And then the tip to keep in mind says, evaluate your childhood memories, particularly if your painful history arises from the feeling that you were never accepted as a family member. I'm just hearing black sheep. And that for some of y'all too, it wasn't necessarily that. It was like just feeling like you couldn't be honest about things because you had to like conform to the tribe, you know, and that it was like too hard for you to stand in your own truth because you felt like maybe it would have happened, maybe they would have rejected you. And so some of you are just like forgiving and learning yourself for like feeling like you couldn't stand upright in your own truth about like the things that mattered to you. Because anytime we see cups are something of an emotional nature. So it could just be referencing the stuff in your life, because this is your physical material realm card here today, Taurus. And so it could just be referencing the stuff in your life that just kind of gives you those good feelings, you know, or the stuff that makes you feel emotional and maybe a little fragile. Because, you know, these page energies, you know, this is a younger person, if it's a person. If it's not a person, it's like maybe how the energy around somebody that might be represented in that age group would tend to feel or be or act. And so, you know, being that it's a young person, it could sometimes be someone's child maybe, or referencing, you know, a point of their youthful development stages of growth. It could be the vulnerabilities. And so for some of y'all, I'm just being told that this is just like a month where you're recognizing too, like where you weren't really protected and where somebody wasn't really like having your back. And I'm hearing in some cases they just weren't ready. It wasn't like they were trying to hurt you or not be there, but that they just were like ill-equipped. But it didn't change the fact that you were left feeling freaking jilted. And so it's like some of y'all are just like thinking about it right now. It's like on your mind, you know, and it's like a process right now where, you know, you're just kind of like figuring out how to hear or extrapolate the part of this that's like going to give you back your self-esteem and let you embrace, you know, the truth in a way that allows you to feel aligned with your guardianship and your protection, even if it's just coming from your own self-application of those things. But I'm also hearing in some cases too, though, it's really a feeling of rescue, and that some of you have actually been doing that, and that it's almost like you've had an angel whispering in your ear and just helping you to get past like the grievances, you know, so that you can stand in the light of your truth and whatever is standing there before you. Because there's a lot of light coming from the sky here that almost looks like the cosmos opening up to this person who's like balancing the next step forward. Because there's a big step, and they have to actually step over what looks like a massive crevasse. It looks like stepping into a new world. And for those of you that to whom this is applicable, they're just saying, you know, you are guarded and protected, and a lot of this is just because of the way that you have actually learned to protect your heart space. And so I'm being told in some cases, you know, that's you. You're the big angel that's guarded and protected yourself, and then all that green that's like covering your chest there, you know, whether you're they, she, he, whomever this is to you. But if that's you, it's how you've learned to guard and protect your heart, because you are standing in the light of your truth. So let's just go back here to, you know, physical material realm again. You know, Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. We've got this Page of Cups showing upside down. This could be someone's child, literally, giving them a hard time right now in some kind of way, just because, you know, they're unhappy and feeling like, you know, I'm hearing it was something about a divorce, and, you know, just feeling like not happy. And, you know, maybe going through the motions of, you know, oh, you're leaving me now, even though it's maybe like a court decision. It was something that you couldn't change. And so if that's you right now, I'm just being told, you know, God bless you. I'm going to pray for you here. I've been praying for you. We already started on your prayer, and I'm happy to do a personal prayer for you if you need it. That, you know if it was something that you couldn't change, You know, and you know if it was something that went through the court system and, you know, it was just somebody else's judgment call on this. And sometimes these situations freaking suck because there's literally nothing you can do except try to forgive yourself for the things that were out of your control. And this could be a person, you know, that might have a water sign element somewhere in their constitution. If that's not you, you might have water too. It's going to be somebody that might be, you know, predominant flow of water, like sun, moon, rising of Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So you might even want to check out those readings. They'll be here on the channel on the playlist too. And yeah, sometimes these will have, you know, crisscross, and so you might want to cross-reference that for sure. I'm going to go ahead and pull up what the book says on your mental realm card. John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle Deck book. This is a major arcana, and if we were in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, one of the more traditional decks, pulling that card, that would be one of the 22 majors. That particular card is known as Judgment. And a lot of times when it shows up, it's, you know, a decision has been made, something has happened, something of concrete nature, something of finality, something that implies a very firm punctuation. And in this deck, that's very much the same for me too. This one's got a little bit of a different connotation sometimes too, because sometimes it's about the thing that either made or broke the decision. So it's like the why of it. And I think that's why they so appropriately called it Truth in this deck. And since it is a major energy, it's the kind of thing that really changes situations. It's, you know, it's kind of game changer information that's come to light. So here's what the book says. The qualities of this card illustrate spiritual awakening, clarity, the revelation of truth, and cosmic consciousness. At times it takes a wake-up call to get your attention and show how far you need to go. This card comes forth to do just that. Evaluation of the past, along with the lessons that you've learned or still need to understand, may now be a top priority. Doing so will enable you to forgive, accept, and heal so that you can move forward in a balanced spiritual mindset. The Truth card reminds you that a significant change must be made in a certain area of your life. But don't make any hasty decisions. Take your time, for any choices or alterations must be weighed and evaluated with the most careful and wisest of judgments. Whatever steps you take now will have far-reaching consequences, more than you'll ever know. Using the powers of the universe and blending them with a little help from the physical world will assist you in bringing about clarity and a shift of awareness. What was once not obvious will now be realized and understood. Be honest with yourself and trust what you know to be true. Traditional tarot archetype, Judgment. So yeah, I mean, they're saying in some cases too, it's like, you know, that's what happened with you. And that your parent really had no control over the situation once that judgment was made, and kind of just left you feeling like this. And that maybe for some of you, part of why this is coming up right now is because you found somebody, or somebody found you, that has like stepped in, that makes you feel protected and like guarded, and like they just care about the stuff that matters to you that nobody else really took the time to care about. You know, you were always just feeling like you had like this love and like this cup that nobody cared about. And it was like, you know, now it's just almost like you didn't even really realize that you liked that or wanted it. You're kind of having to forgive yourself for that because you're feeling kind of gypped. And that's what this judgment is for some of you. You're feeling freaking gypped because it's like you were going all out and, like, you know, you always had this there and you just weren't even, like, knowing how to put yourself in a way where it was sort of like being appreciated because it never was before. And so it's like now that this has shown up and you got this character that I'm being told guards you and protects you, and you just like they shows up like ready to like respond, you know, to the little voices that they hear, you know, that it's a lot. It's just bringing up a lot of emotional stuff. And so if that's the case, right now they're just saying it's a good time for you to really give yourself whatever it is that you need to feel like those needs that make you feel so vulnerable and like sensitive about what wasn't there when you needed it before, you know, maybe just take a little time to spoil that right now. Be that parent that you really needed. You know? What would that person have been like for you? How would they have shown up and like talked to you and listened to you when you had your little voice that wanted to say the things that you needed or wanted and maybe felt like you couldn't because you didn't have that advocate there? Or like people were just expecting a lot from you because maybe you were really just kind of a genius is what I'm hearing for some of y'all. It's like you got sent off somewhere because they saw what you could do. And it's almost like you kind of were put on a pedestal in some situations for this talent, but that it kind of forced you to grow up really fast in some ways and not really get to just feel like a kid. You know, and I'm hearing for somebody it was it's just something they're having to see all over again. It's like it was taken for granted that they would emotionally be able to deal with the situation they were put into because they were so like advanced in this other way that they were in this other world with like maybe adults and people that wanted to learn from them and be guided, but it's almost like they didn't really get to be a kid is what I'm hearing, and their vulnerabilities were just like sort of dismissed because it was like people were just like, oh, you're so mature, and you know, they just kind of came to you at that level, and you know, you never got to be that. So now you're just kind of reliving it. I'm hearing some of y'all, so you're gonna know if that was you. Let's see what the romance angels have to say about the forgiving and learning card. You know what? I think this card actually was one of the cards that flipped itself over while I was shuffling for Earth Tribes. So Capricorn got the other one because it also showed up in their reading. So I don't know. So I'd say you might have some Capricorn you're dealing with, or also in your chart. You might be interested in looking at all that stuff. Let's see what this book says. Okay, Taurus. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. The romance angels have heard your desire for great love. They bring you this card as guidance. They see that your heart can give and receive the bliss of romance by clearing away the cobwebs of the past. The angels know that you've been hurt before and that you're wary of being hurt again. Yet your defenses are creating barriers to allowing love into your life. As you heal your past, you won't keep recreating it. After all, you attract into your life the situations and relationships that remind you of what you've already experienced, because that is a primary tool of healing. To change to a healthier relationship pattern, it's necessary to detoxify any old anger, blame, or unforgiveness that you may be holding. This includes forgiving yourself. If you call upon the angels and ask them to help you release and heal your past, they'll clear away the heaviness so that your heart can soar with happiness. And so they're saying that's the case, and that, sometimes it's really just about guarding and protecting your own heart and forgiving yourself for the things that you couldn't have done any differently. Because if you could have, you probably would have, right? I don't think anybody makes decisions that are difficult, like, haphazardly, and like, hey, let's just make a fucked up decision, and like, let's really fuck things up, Who does that? Nobody. And so they're just saying right now, this might be what you need to do. Guard and protect you. Forgive your own heart. And if you're stepping into some major truths right now about what the past really was, it's just a really good time to kind of just know that, you do have angelic assistants that showed up. They're showing up guarded and protected. And so now it's just a good time to help you process those things, Taurus, And if there's ever a best time to be processing stuff like that, it's kind of like when it's maybe not a great time to be communicating things as much, because things are sometimes slower. And so these retrograde energies, like right now with Mercury being retrograde, you couldn't have picked a more perfect time to be dealing with this, because it's like the energy is just really calling for you to go inside. We've had these eclipses and everything, and it's the time to see and figure out where the light was shut off in your own world, and just embracing those truths and your own self and whatever those vulnerabilities are. So if that's you catching your own feelings for your own self so that you can deal with the light of your own truth, give yourself what you need to process and learn, stand in that. Be the guardian of your own heart. See that green there? That angel's cloaked in like the healing heart color in that space, in those vulnerable places. And you know what? They're guarding it. And so now's a good time to do that. And I'll take that for a clue for you, Taurus. So hopefully that all made sense for you, and hopefully you liked it. If you did, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Hit me up if you'd like a prayer at fatheroftribes.com. If I can do a personal reading for you, I would love to do that. artoflove.me, hit me up. It's easy to get in my schedule. Alright, that's all I got for you right now, Taurus. May you be blessed, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when I'm back for your October readings. Holy smokes, October. It's almost here. Take care of yourself and each other.